Let me ask you something. Why do so many people romanticize real estate investing? You've all heard the stories, right? The rags to riches narratives, where someone becomes an overnight millionaire by buying a few properties, flipping them, or turning them into lucrative rental units. Real estate is often painted as the fast track to wealth, a foolproof strategy that guarantees financial success and freedom. But here's the raw, unvarnished truth. Real estate investing is stressful. I mean seriously stressful, every step of the way. Now, don't get me wrong, real estate can be your path to financial independence. It can be the way you create a life of wealth, passive income, and stability. But you need to know the reality. You need to be prepared for the full experience, which includes dealing with a tremendous amount of stress, uncertainty, and risk. Real estate isn't for the faint-hearted. It requires guts, determination, and an ability to thrive in the face of relentless pressure. We're going to dive deep into the real reasons why real estate investing can be so stressful, and I don't mean surface-level problems. I'm talking about the big challenges, the hidden pitfalls, and the continuous pressure you're going to face in this game. But don't worry, I won't just talk about the stress, I'll also show you how to overcome it, how to use that stress as motivation, and how to make real estate work for you. If you can handle the stress, and thrive under that pressure, real estate can transform your life. But make no mistake, it's going to be a battle. The first and most obvious source of stress in real estate investing is money. Real estate requires capital, and usually a lot of it. Whether you're buying a small rental unit, a family home to flip, or investing in a multi-unit apartment complex, the financial stakes are sky high. Let's face it, most of us don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars just sitting around in a bank account, ready to invest. So what do? You take on debt. Debt is both your greatest tool and your biggest stressor in real estate. You leverage loans and mortgages to buy properties, and while that allows you to scale faster and bigger, it also puts a massive weight on your shoulders. Because here's the reality, when you take on debt to invest in real estate, you're committing to monthly payments, whether or not that property is bringing in cash flow. Imagine for a second that you've bought a rental property, and a few months later, your tenants move out. Now, for the next few weeks or months, you're on the hook for the mortgage, property taxes, utilities, and repairs, all while that property sits vacant, producing zero income. Or maybe your tenants stop paying rent, and now you're tied up in a legal eviction process that takes months to resolve. The mortgage still has to be paid. This is what I mean when I say real estate can be financially stressful. If you don't manage your finances wisely, the pressure will crush you. How do you deal with this kind of financial stress? First, you need to be ruthless with your numbers. Never, and I mean never, invest based on hype or speculation. Before you buy a property, you need to run every number possible: your mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, maintenance costs, and vacancy risks. You need to factor in worst-case scenarios, not just best-case projections. Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Second, you need a financial cushion, a reserve fund for every property you own. This is non-negotiable. Set aside money for vacancies, unexpected repairs, or market downturns. The investors who fail are the ones who assume everything will go perfectly. The ones who succeed are the ones who plan for disaster. But here's the kicker, the financial stress never disappears. If you're serious about building wealth through real estate, you'll always be reinvesting, taking on more debt, and scaling your portfolio. The stress of managing debt and capital will follow you at every level. But don't shy away from it, embrace it. Because that financial pressure is what will keep you sharp, disciplined, and committed to making every deal count. The second major source of stress in real estate investing is something you have absolutely no control over: market volatility. The real estate market is constantly in flux. Property values rise and fall. Interest rates fluctuate. Local economies boom and bust. And guess what? You can't control any of it. Let's be real here, no one can predict when the next real estate bubble will burst, or when interest rates will skyrocket, or when the economy will slip into recession. But when these things happen, they directly impact your investments, often in ways you didn't see coming. Imagine that you've just invested in a few rental properties, and everything seems to be going smoothly. Suddenly, a market crash hits, and now the properties that were supposed to appreciate in value have dropped. In some cases, you might even owe more on the mortgage than the property is worth. Meanwhile, tenants are losing their jobs, vacancy rates are climbing, and rental income is drying up. That's market volatility in action, and it's terrifying. This kind of stress can make you feel completely helpless. You're doing everything right, but the market shifts, and suddenly you're faced with financial pressures that are out of your control. So how do you cope? First, you need to accept that uncertainty is part of the game. You can't control the market, but you can control how you respond to it. You need to build flexibility and resilience into your investment strategy. Don't over-leverage yourself. Don't buy properties at the peak of a market bubble, expecting endless appreciation. Be patient. Be selective. Invest with a long-term perspective, and you'll be better equipped to ride out the inevitable market downturns. Second, diversify your investments. Don't put all your capital into one type of property or one location. Spread your risk across different markets, different types of properties, and different strategies. If one market gets hit hard, your other investments can help cushion the blow. Finally, always have a backup plan. Know when it's time to sell, when it's time to hold, and when it's time to pivot your strategy. Real estate is a long-term game, and if you can navigate the stress of market uncertainty, you'll position yourself for lasting success. The uncertainty won't go away, but your ability to handle it will strengthen with experience. Here's another source of stress that a lot of first-time real estate investors underestimate: people management. If you're investing in rental properties, you're not just dealing with bricks and mortar, you're dealing with tenants. And let me tell you, tenants can be a handful. When you imagine owning rental properties, you probably picture passive income flowing in each month, right? But what happens when your tenants don't pay rent? Or when they damage your property? Or when they're constantly calling you with maintenance requests and complaints? The truth is, managing tenants can be one of the most stressful aspects of real estate investing. Not every tenant is going to be a model renter. Some will pay rent late, or not at all. Some will call you at all hours of the night for trivial issues, while others will ignore major problems that lead to expensive repairs down the line. And then there's tenant turnover. Every time a tenant moves out, you're faced with vacancy periods where you have no income, plus the cost of cleaning, repairs, and possibly upgrades before a new tenant can move in. Let's not sugarcoat it, tenant management is hard, and it's stressful. So how do you deal with it? First, you have to be proactive in screening your tenants. Don't just take anyone with a pulse who's willing to sign a lease. Check their credit, their rental history, their employment. A bad tenant will cost you far more than a few weeks of vacancy ever will. Be selective. Set high standards, and don't lower them just to fill a unit quickly. Second, communication is key. If you build a good relationship with your tenants from the start, showing them that you're responsive, fair, and professional, they're more likely to respect your property and pay their rent on time. Treat your tenants well, and they'll treat you and your property well in return. But again, tenant troubles are a reality of real estate investing. You will deal with difficult tenants, unexpected vacancies, and the stress of keeping your properties fully rented. The trick is to manage that stress effectively and not let it break you. With the right systems in place, you can minimize tenant issues, but they'll never disappear entirely. Another major source of stress in real estate investing is the never-ending list of maintenance and repair issues. When you buy a property, you're not just buying a building, you're buying all the problems that come with it. And let me tell you, problems will arise. A leaking roof, a broken furnace, plumbing disasters, electrical issues, the list goes on. And here's the kicker, these issues rarely show up at convenient times. The furnace breaks down in the dead of winter. The plumbing backs up when the house is full of tenants. These problems don't just cost you money, they cost you time, energy, and peace of mind. But it's not just about fixing problems when they arise. Proactive maintenance is key to protecting your investment, and that requires a constant outflow of time and money. You need to keep the property in good shape, not just for the sake of your tenants, but to preserve the property's value. Deferred maintenance is a surefire way to lose money in the long run. So how do you manage the stress of maintenance and repairs? First, budget for it. Don't just look at the mortgage payment when calculating your expenses. You need to set aside money for repairs, maintenance, and unexpected emergencies. This is non-negotiable. If you don't plan for it, you'll be caught off guard, and that's when the stress really mounts. Second, build a reliable network of contractors, plumbers, electricians, and other service providers. Don't wait until there's an emergency to find someone. Do your research, build relationships, and have a go-to team that you trust to handle issues quickly and professionally. But again, the stress never disappears. There will always be something that needs fixing, something that costs more than you expected. You have to accept this as part of the game. If you can't handle the constant demand for repairs and maintenance, real estate might not be for you. But if you can, you're on the path to mastering this aspect of investing. In addition to the financial, market, tenant, and maintenance stresses we've already discussed, there's another significant layer of complexity that can add to your stress: regulatory challenges. Real estate investing doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's governed by a multitude of laws, regulations, and local ordinances that can vary widely from one jurisdiction to another. Ignorance of these regulations can cost you time, money, and even your investment. Let's break this down. Every property you purchase is subject to zoning laws, building codes, health regulations, and tenant-landlord laws. Violating any of these can lead to fines, legal disputes, or even lawsuits. For instance, if you're planning to renovate a property but fail to get the necessary permits, you could face hefty fines and forced renovations that can drain your resources. The regulatory landscape can change as well. New laws can be introduced, existing ones can be amended, and local governments may impose new restrictions, all of which can impact your investments. Maybe a new rent control law gets enacted that caps your rental income. Or perhaps the city imposes stricter regulations on short-term rentals, affecting your ability to profit from platforms like Airbnb. The stress of navigating this complex regulatory environment can feel overwhelming. So, how do you manage it? First, do your homework. Before you invest in any property, research local regulations thoroughly. Understand the zoning laws and any restrictions on what you can and cannot do with the property. Familiarize yourself with tenant rights in your area, including what is required for evictions, security deposits, and property maintenance. Knowledge is power. Second, build relationships with local professionals. Real estate attorneys, property managers, and real estate agents can provide invaluable insights into the local regulatory landscape. Don't hesitate to reach out to them for guidance. Surrounding yourself with experts who understand the intricacies of real estate laws can save you a lot of stress down the line. Finally, stay informed. Regulations can change, so subscribe to local real estate newsletters, join professional organizations, and participate in community meetings to keep yourself updated. The more you know, the better prepared you'll be to navigate any regulatory challenges that arise. Regulatory stress is just another reality of the real estate game, but it doesn't have to paralyze you. If you approach it with diligence and a proactive mindset, you can turn potential obstacles into stepping stones for your success. Another source of stress that many real estate investors face is the pressure to build and maintain a professional network. Real estate is not just about property, it's also about people. Your success often hinges on your ability to build relationships with a variety of stakeholders, other investors, real estate agents, lenders, contractors, and even your tenants. Building a network can be daunting, especially for new investors. You might feel like an outsider looking in, unsure of how to connect with others in the industry. But here's the hard truth: you can't do this alone. If you want to thrive in real estate, you need to be willing to put yourself out there and forge connections. However, networking comes with its own set of stresses. You may encounter competitive personalities, conflicting interests, and even toxic relationships that can drain your energy. It's not always easy to sift through who's genuine and who's not. You may face rejection or find it difficult to break into established circles. So, how can you manage the stress of networking effectively? First, change your mindset about networking. Instead of viewing it as a transactional process where you're trying to get something from someone, see it as an opportunity to build mutually beneficial relationships. Approach networking with a mindset of curiosity and generosity. Offer value to others, whether it's sharing knowledge, providing referrals, or simply being a supportive connection. The more you give, the more you'll receive in return. Second, get out there. Attend local real estate meetups, seminars, and workshops. Join real estate investment clubs, and participate in online forums. Engage with others in your industry on social media platforms like LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to introduce yourself and share your journey. You'll be surprised at how many people are willing to help you, but you have to make the first move. Third, nurture your existing relationships. Building a network isn't just about making new connections, it's also about maintaining the relationships you already have. Check in with people, follow up after meetings, and stay engaged. Relationships take time and effort, so don't let them fall by the wayside. Navigating the stress of networking requires effort, but it's worth it. Strong relationships can provide you with essential support, guidance, and opportunities that will make your real estate journey smoother and more successful. Finally, let's address the emotional stress that comes with real estate investing. Investing in property isn't just a financial endeavor, it's also deeply emotional. You'll face high hopes, excitement, frustration, disappointment, and triumph, all within a single day or even an hour. The emotional roller coaster can be exhausting. When you first close on a property, you're riding high with excitement. This could be your big break, your path to financial freedom. But then reality hits. Maybe the property isn't performing as expected. Maybe tenants are difficult. Maybe the market shifts and values drop. Suddenly, that initial excitement can turn into anxiety, doubt, and fear. Emotional stress can cloud your judgment and lead to poor decision making. You might find yourself making irrational choices out of desperation or frustration, which can further compound your problems. So how do you cope with the emotional roller coaster of real estate investing? First, develop emotional resilience. Understand that ups and downs are part of the process. Don't let temporary setbacks define your journey. Build a mindset of perseverance. When things get tough, remind yourself of your goals and why you started in the first place. Second, set realistic expectations. Real estate is not a get-rich-quick scheme. Understand that success takes time, effort, and often a fair amount of trial and error. Celebrate your small wins along the way and don't get discouraged by the setbacks. Recognize that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. As we wrap up, let's revisit the reality of real estate investing. Yes, it's filled with stress, financial pressures, market uncertainties, tenant issues, regulatory hurdles, relationship building challenges, and emotional turmoil. But here's the truth: stress is an inevitable part of any worthwhile endeavor. It's how you respond to that stress that defines your success. Real estate can be a powerful vehicle for wealth building and financial independence. It can create a life of freedom, security, and legacy for your family. But it won't be easy, and it won't be without challenges. You must be willing to embrace the stress, face the obstacles head on, and use them as motivation to push forward. Ask yourself, are you ready to commit to this journey? Are you prepared to endure the challenges and embrace the stress? If your answer is yes, then you're already on the path to success. Remember, the winners in real estate are not those who avoid stress, they're the ones who learn to navigate it, manage it, and ultimately thrive because of it. Your future is waiting for you. Get out there, take the leap. Your journey begins now. Will you embrace the challenge?